Hello and welcome to another Let's Play. Me, GamerWolfSix of the Echo. Sorry, I played a lot of Smoke Room. Before we start, if you're interested in playing this game, you can get it free on itch.io, but they have a Patreon where you can give them $3 a month for early access to other games, because this one's finished a while ago. So, on last Let's Play, Carl stepped away from the party because he doesn't like being the center of attention. It's just, a lot for him. And Jenna was definitely not happy about that. She was like, "Oh, look at you with your money and happy life and not drug addict family. And while I have to do things." And it's like, I can see both sides in that. Like, one, sometimes mentally it's like, things are fine, but you're like, I can't do things right now. But then also it's like, yeah, Jenna's had it a lot harder, so yeah. But leave the discourse in the comment section, I guess. But yeah, then after the party had finished, me and Carl stayed over at the night, and Carl was like, "I want to smooch you because I want to kiss a boy. I want to know what it's like." And I'm like, "Carl, you're drunk. Let's not do this." And then we both fell asleep. And then now, stuff's gonna happen, I guess. Reset face. And begin. I don't know where I am at first, as I open my eyes, but the dimmed Lucha Loba lamp tells me. Laying there for a while, I realize that Carl's no longer on top of me. Ooh, we didn't do it. I just told you we didn't kiss. It's not like those other games where you do a whole bunch of banging but no kissing. We didn't even kiss. My face, fur, is a little wet, and my nose is stuffy. I look around, thinking Carl probably went back to his bed, but he's not there either. He must be getting a drink, or something, hopefully water. A dull, far-off thud makes me open my eyes again. I listen carefully, starting to worry that the sound came from downstairs. Again, I hear it, and it makes me jump this time. Shit, it's happening again? I mean, Carl's not here. He could be, drunkenly stumbling around the house. I hear a voice coming from the same area, directly below me. It's a lot more muffled, but I can tell it's a voice, muttering and cussing. Carl? My voice sounds weak and warbly in the heavy silence of the dark house. The scuffling sounds below me stop for a second, though, then start up again, more vigorous now. Slowly I sit up, listening to the whispering and thumping beneath me. My mind flashes to Duke, the weasel's foot forward, his eyes locked on me. But for our interaction with Duke, I'm pretty sure it was just us seeing him off in the distance and him seeming to be high or something like that, but also not high, but maybe crazy, and looking at us from, far off in the distance. Finally, the anxiety gets to me, and I stand up, walking as quickly as I can from the room into the hallway. The kitchen's dark, and I move over to the front door to check to see if it's locked. It is, so I move over the stairs and look down into the inky blackness, almost afraid to turn on the lights. Nothing jumps out at me when I do, but the light is actually making me more afraid, knowing that it will light up anything that's down there. I move down the stairs as quietly as I can, every creak making my fur bristle. The scraping sound is louder now, and so is the voice. I'm almost positive it's Carl, but I can't be sure. I call his name again, but it's almost a whisper in my throat. I clasp my paws together against my chest, eyes flicking to each doorway as I slowly move down the hall, not wanting Carl to get the jump on me. When I finally get to the crawlspace door, I can pick up the rhythmic thumping along with the scrapes and muttering. The muttering is much clearer now. Buried inside. Help. I shiver. Carl, this isn't funny. Again, my voice is weak and unconvincing. He probably didn't even hear me. Another thud almost shakes the house as a jump. What the hell is he doing? Is he even Carl? Did whoever's down there murder him and is now in the process of burning his body? The fear is too much, and I know I have to open the door now and put an end to the stupid prank, or I'm gonna call 911 and make everything worse. It was like, wait, 911? No, 911. With each step I take towards the doors, it feels like the air is getting electrified. The charge making my fur stand on end all over my body. As soon as I touch the tiny knob of the door and start to pull it open, though, the sound stops. I freeze, listening hard. I get the feeling that whatever is down there is doing the exact same thing. Then I hear a series of thuds as whatever it is runs at the door. I fall back and can't help myself from shrieking, landing on my ass and scooting backwards with my paws and feet. The door flies open and I'm face to face with a dusty Carl. Carl, what the fuck? I scream at him, my chest heaving as I clutch it, like I'm about to have a heart attack. He looks confused, looking around, then back at me, breathing hard himself. Oh, wait, but he doesn't say anything. There's white dust all over his horns and on his shoulders. Just what? I yell at him again, and he jumps. I'd feel bad if I wasn't so freaked out. I sleepwalk, sometimes, okay? I debate whether or not to accept that as an answer, but he looks confused enough that it just might be true. You scared the shit out of me. Carl moves out of the crawl space, leaning over to brush his head off. You scared the shit out of me. I don't know where I was. I slowly get to my feet, still breathing heavily. What is that stuff? What were you doing in there? Just dust. It's dirty down there. Again, I feel like he's leaving stuff out. I try to look past him into the crawl space, but he closed the door. Come on, I need to smoke after that. I feel like you need a shower and just to go to bed, man. Though I guess if you're freaked out, it's kind of hard to go to bed. I stand back to let him pass, tempted to open the door again. He grabs my arm when he sees me looking through. Seriously, dude, let's go. I don't really want to be alone in this house right now. Please. I look at him, and I can tell he's definitely freaked out. I'd be too if I woke up in that crawl space. Yeah, let's go. I slowly follow him, looking back at the door before flicking off the light. Thursday. I just want to quickly look at something. Right. Thursday. Save. And can we go to the main menu for a hot second? I'm just like curious, like, what is the time thing of this? Like, I know, like, days aren't days, but still. Okay, we got like one more CG, and what would be the thing? That's going back. Pop would be music, glass would be a thing. Okay. Thursday, so we have Thursday and then 3 more days. Ish. Okay, back to it. Are you sure you don't want to come down? Carl lay splayed out on his bed, game controller clutched in both of his paws that are thrown over his head against the pillow. He offers me a glance, but returns back to the game. This time, it's a new-looking, open-world fantasy, and honestly, I'd much rather be watching him play it than doing homework. I just don't want to distract you, man, and you know how much help I am. I frown. Well, it'd be more than company than anything. Do you want to look through the stuff too? Carl screws up his muzzle, as if contemplating. I've seen most of it, dude. I wrapped up half the stuff in there. Well, alright. I pause, but he doesn't say anything. It's clear he's not interested, so I have no reason to nag him. Still, it sorta hurts my feelings. As I make my way down to the basement alone, I realize another reason why I would have appreciated Carl's company. This house is creepy as fuck. I've always been a bit of a pussy when it comes to scary things. I mean, once, after I'd seen a scary movie about possession, I've been afraid to go to sleep for weeks, mainly because my nightmares can seem so real. And you're also kind of possessed. Spoilers? It took almost a month for me to manage it without the lights on, and I was 18 at the time. And now, I mentally kick myself for remembering that movie while I'm down in Carl's creepy basement alone. Once I get to the crawl space, I do an awkward half run to the flood lamp that probably would have made Carl laugh his ass off. The crawl space is really fucking creepy. I imagine Carl sleepwalking down here, which I'm pretty sure is what happened last night, then waking up alone in the dark. I can understand why I was so freaked out. I saw the sight of the plastic tarp at the bottom of the steps brings back memories of the tarantula as well. Shit. Now, I have good reason not to be down here at all. I still don't know if what I saw was real, or was some kind of hypnagogic hallucination that my mind always seemed so keen to throw at me. I scanned the tarp. It's white and clean surface, free of any insects, as far as I can tell. I shudder again before making my way slowly down the steps, eyes still darting around. Come on, you idiot. This is ridiculous. When I was younger, I used to have a problem where I'd wake up in the middle of the night and see spiders crawling up the walls. I'd scream, and one of my parents would come running in to tell me nothing was there. My dad talked to a psychiatrist friend who told him it was normal, so we didn't do anything about it. Over time, the hallucination stopped. They didn't come back until I took the night shift near my university campus. After that, I started getting sleep paralysis, and about half the time, spiders were involved. My feet crunch their way across the tarp, back towards the tubs that I know are marked history. Tabs. Tubs? I stare at them for a second, remembering that 2 days ago, the tubs had been turned to have their sides facing the entrance up to the crawl space. I clearly remember seeing them that way, over Carl's shoulder, right before I saw the tarantula. Now, they're turned so that their ends are pointed to the front. I frown, but the prickling feeling on my neck doesn't feel good, especially with me being alone down here. So, I shove that to the back of my mind and grab the end of the bottom tub so I can start digging it back towards the stairs. Sitting down and taking the lids off, I start sifting through the contents. Again, something isn't right. There are a few empty wrappers lying around among the artifacts, as if someone had unwrapped a few trinkets before taking them. I wonder if Carl decided to take a few things? God knows why he would. I removed those wrappers, 3 in all, and set them to the side before digging further in. This particular tub has a divider in it. As I start unwrapping things, I realize that one side is for harder artifacts, like keys or knitting needles. The other has mostly paper items, like photos and documents. On the paper side, I see a thick folder labeled Biography of James Hendricks. Maybe the one we know? My eyes widen. Now that would come in handy. Is this a book, or... As I open it up, I find a bunch of loose papers inside. Well, it's clearly copy paper. It's old enough in its own right. I move back down to the tarp so I can start spreading the documents out, not wanting to lose anything. I'm breathing heavily at this point, hardly believing my luck. There are hundreds of pages that I hardly know where to start. Yeah, it's kind of funny that this route is the only route in these games where the main character's like, oh yeah, I have a project to do, let's do it. Because let's see, in TJ's route it's hanging out with TJ and stuff like that. With Jenna's route, it's Carl's missing but also hanging out with Jenna. Well, I guess also Leo's route is hanging out with Leo, but it's also romancing and stuff like that. After a while, I begin to deduce what it is. Someone's been trying to write a book on James Hendricks. From what I can tell, it was Carl's mother, Trisha? Some of the documents were typed out on a typewriter, so this might have been started as far back as the 80s. Getting married, having kids, and running a company probably slowed things down just a little bit. I grin. Well, it's too bad that this might never see publication. Carl's mom had no idea how much she saved my ass. On top of that, she's got it all organized. I guess in Leo's route we did go to the library. One divider indicates James Hendricks, while another marks Emma Hendricks, who I assume is James's wife. Okay, sorry, I'm gonna do a quick detour to see Emma Hendricks, which gives me like pictures of a lady. No, I don't want the location. Oh. I just kind of want to know, like, are we talking? Okay, there's James Hendricks the first, but also James Hendricks the third. Okay, Emma is the grandmother of the James that we know. So, you know, quite a bit of ways back. A few of them are filled with several names. Marlon Smith, John Begay, Jan Aha Begay, Christopher Leeway. Finally, the last section of the binder is filled with dividers indicating dates 1925, 1952, 1952 to 1975, 1975 to 1878, and 1878 to 1891. I start with that, my fingers shaking a bit with excitement, and the music goes away, as I start poring over Teresa's meticulous timeline, using my phone to take notes. James was born in 1825 to an immigrant family from Erie. His family faced oppressive prejudice from the day they arrived in the country. Despite this, they managed to make a living with James's father becoming a plumber, a profession that mainly dealt with lead. Oof. His father, Martin, was abusive, even more so than was accepted for the time, and James suffered greatly for it. The mysterious death of his 5-year-old sister, Martha, led many townspeople to suspect murder on the father's part, but this was never proven. James left home at the age of 15. He told his remaining sibling, Jane, that if he were able, he'd find a place for both of them to stay to escape their father. Not much is known about James Hendricks between 1840 to 1849, with Teresa assuming that he simply job hopped around the tri-state area. What is known is that James set out west in 1850 during the gold rush. Luck struck quick, with James finding gold in a quartz deposit in 1852. So, like, was it that he's mining gold or quartz? Because it seemed like they were mining quartz, but then also some gold. The first person James confided in about the find was his old friend, John Begay. And I feel like Begay is also a guy in the smoke room, but maybe not that Begay. Smoke room. How do you spell that? Begay. Oh, Well, when I type in the smoke room Begay, it's, Sela. You know, that, guy that kind of looks like, Jenna? you know, the fox that lives on the reservation, and yeah. So he worked with the Native American guy. Huh. John was a native desert fox, well, that explains it, and would go on to become James's business partner. This comes as a bit of surprise due to John's many recorded instances of prejudice against the natives. With John's help, James officially laid claim to the mine before he turned it into a business. While Echo was originally a small camp of less than 20 people, it became a mini boomtown. Over 2,000 people arrived within the next 3 years. Things went well for James after that. He became rich, built a mansion in Echo, and lived off the mine's seemingly endless flow of gold. Now, I'm wondering if it's like, you know, geologically, it's like, yeah, there's a lot of gold here, or if it's like, yeah, the mystical stuff puts gold in the mine. He sent Jane, who was married with a large family at that point. He sent Jane a yearly sum of money. Okay. Meanwhile, no money was sent to his parents, who were living in deep poverty. He married Emma, a girl half his age, in 1860. They had 5 children. James the second, not ours, but the father of James the third, Thomas, Janine, Carol, and Martha. Things changed for James in 1875, though, when he was accused of sodomy with John Begay. Oof. I'm not sure if that was illegal in America. I know it's technically still illegal in Texas, but the federal thing says that Texas can't do that. But if it was repealed, yeah. And yeah, there's everybody's homosexual in Echo for reasons. The land being lawless at the time, John Begay was hanged by the locals. Oof. James was never convicted of the crime, likely because of his strong influence in the town. However, the ostracism grew to be too much, and in 1878, he left his family to live in solitude on the West Coast. He quietly started a moderately successful ice cream business in 1880s. It didn't grow into a regional juggernaut it is today until it was taken over by his grandson, Peter. So, wait. They had... Really? I thought, like, Carl's mother was the ice cream, like, CEO or something like that, and it exploded recently. He died there in the villa in 1891 from an unusual insect bite. Spiders? I opened my eyes to check the time. 3 hours have passed already, and it's late in the afternoon. Apparently Carl's game is so good, he hasn't even bothered to come down and check on me. I sigh and gather a few of the items, and the pocket watch, which looks like a nugget of gold, and what I think is a stamp with a crest on it. I need to take pictures outside, considering how dim it is down here. I lay the items down on the adobe sidewalk that leads up to Carl's house. I feel like that's a bad idea. Shouldn't there be, like, a room in this mansion that has lots of rooms that has, like, adequate lighting? Just saying, man. Deciding that it would take what will make a suitable background, I started taking pictures. Hours after the discovery of the binder, I'm still relieved. I was really starting to worry about how little time I had left, but Trisha's research has saved me hours of time. In fact, she's pretty much laid everything out for me. Be sure to cite her. Granted, I would have to bet at the end of this thing we're not going to be finishing the project. I nearly jump out of my skin and spin around, still clutching my camera. Behind me, I can see the window still rattling from the force of whatever knocked on it. It's a basement window with a window well, though I can't see anything through it. It's too dark. I stare for a while, frowning. What the fuck was Carl doing? Did he go back downstairs and somehow see me through the window and decide to scare me? I slowly gather the artifacts back up and place them in my bag, keep an eye on the window as I do. If he went to pull some shit, then I could play that same game too. The only problem is that Carl isn't in the basement. From what I gather, it was the window next to the crawl space. That was it. Looking out, I can see the spot where I must have been standing. A chill return, and I shiver as I move back to the crawl space. It had been, no, it had to have been Carl though. I don't get why he wouldn't have stayed down here until I come back. I gather everything back up and start to place them back into the tub, in the same order I'd taken them out. And that's why I noticed something at the very bottom of the tub, a plastic baggie that had been opened with its contents spilled out. I set down the binder, which had been about to put away, and reach in, shifting through the spilled papers. They're newspaper clippings from the town of Payton. They're incredibly old, and I can't imagine this is the best way to preserve them. Either way, the fashion in which they are carelessly spread out across the bottom of the tub makes me wince. I don't remember leaving it this way. It makes me feel sick. They could have damaged any of it. Slowly, I push all the clippings back into the baggie, making sure to seal it tight after I do. From what I can see, nothing's been visibly damaged. I sigh before putting everything back in the tub and shutting with the lid, making sure it's sealed tight. It's a shame that it's been so difficult for Carl's family to set up a museum. From the looks of it, some of the stuff isn't going to last much longer without proper preservation. Finally, I drag the tubs back and subconsciously take note of exactly how I left the room before heading back upstairs. Like, I know these scenes tend to go by quickly, but it's also like, I feel like this next scene could be a bit longer, and we've got about 3 minutes left. So I think we're gonna call it. Boop. That's gonna be the end of this Let's Play. I think that was the one there. So, please get... Oh, I overread it. Whoops. Oh well. It's not like I did anything specific. So, please comment, guys. I like comments, if you like, dislike, tips, tricks, otherwise. If you like my YouTube, I'd like to see it grow. And please like, subscribe, and check out the videos that be growing. Please remember to be near animals that control the pet population. And if you want to play this game, it's available free on the channel. They also have a Patreon, but this game's finished. But it helps with other games. And until next time, I'll say me, GamerWolfSix of Echo. So thanks and see ya.